Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading The Great Hunt. So The Great Hunt is the second book in the Wheel of Time series, which is an epic fantasy series, and I have previously done a reading vlog for book 1, which is The Eye of the World, and I'm gonna link it down in the description below. And if you wanna know what happened and also hear my thoughts on it, then make sure to check the vlog. And now it's time for The Great Hunt. And basically this book is picking up after the first one, and I've obviously already read it at this point. And throughout the reading vlog, I'm gonna be talking about everything that happens in the book, so like this vlog is completely spoiler filled, so yeah, let's jump into it. Last night I got to page 196, which is around 30% of the book, and quite a lot has happened. At the end of book 1, Rand basically said that he had to be alone, but when this book starts, they're all still together, and Lan has been teaching Rand how to sword fight. And Rand keeps saying that he needs to leave, and Lan tells him that this is a good time for him to leave, because the Amerlin, which is the leader of the Aes Sedai, is going to where they are. And they all think that she's going there because of Rand, because he's a dragon reborn. And so Rand tries to get away from her. He tries to escape, but all the gates are closed, and basically no one can get in or out at that time. So, he can't leave. But he still tries to, and he talks to his friends, and his friends tell him that they're gonna go with him, but he wants to go alone. So he basically tells his friends that he doesn't want them to go with them, like he hurts them, so they will let him go, and it still doesn't work. He cannot escape, and he does talk to the Amerlin. Also, there are news of the Great Hunt starting, which is basically a hunt for the Horn of Valir. Yeah. And the Horn of Valir is used to supposedly call back dead heroes from the grave. And both Moiraine and the Amerlin know that it cannot fall into the wrong hands, because if it falls into the hands of Dark Friends or the Dark One, they will call those dead heroes to fight, and that won't be good. Also, a Dark Friend escaped from jail, and in the process he hurt Egwene and Mat. And although they both healed and are fine, the dagger that was bound to Mat disappeared. And they needed that dagger because Moiraine was going to take him to Tar Valon, and she needed the dagger to unbind it from Mat so he'd be safe. And now they don't have the dagger, and he's in more danger than he was before. So now basically the three boys, Lan and Loyal, are going on the hunt for the Horn of Valir and also the dagger, the one that's bind to Mat, while Moiraine, Nynaeve, and Egwene are going to Tar Valon. And that's pretty much where I stopped reading. And so far, I think I'm enjoying it more than the first book, because in the first book I had a lot of issues with the pacing, and so far, everything's been happening pretty quickly, and I haven't found any slow sections. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And also my heart has been breaking for Rand since chapter 1, so that's not as great, but I guess it just means that I really am connected to these characters. And yeah, I'm only 30% into it, but I'm definitely really enjoying it. I have just finished filming this week's video, and last night I got to page 404 of The Great Hunt. And I think when I last updated, I said that Len had gone with the boys and Loyal looking for the horn and the dagger, but that's not true. He went with Moiraine and Nynaeve and Egwene and the other Aes Sedai. But as they were all going to Tar Valon, Len and Moiraine just basically vanished and the others have no idea where they went. But they just kept on going and they got to Tar Valon, where both Nynaeve and Egwene are being taught by Aes Sedai. On the other group, Matt and Perrin finally discovered that Rand can wield the One Power because they didn't know. And they just got scared and basically didn't really want to be around his friends, which just made me sadder for Rand, as if I wasn't sad enough. And so Rand was left with Loyal and Hurin, who was another guy that was there to help them find the horn. And so the three of them fell asleep, and when they woke up, they were not in the same place where they fell asleep. And there was a rock there. And Loyal talked about the stones that the Aes Sedai used to use to travel between worlds, I guess. And they could only do it because they can yield the One Power, which means that Rand was the one that transported them basically into another dimension. And basically they started walking around because they didn't really know where they were, and they couldn't see any people or towns or houses or any sign of human life there, until they met a woman called Celine, and she told them that she had also come from their world basically, and there really were no humans there. There were only some creatures who they basically fought and killed, and with her help they were able to get back to their worlds. And like, she kept saying that she wasn't Aes Sedai, but if she got there, she had to yield the One Power. So like, what is she? Also, I don't like her. She has a really weird vibe. Like, I do not like her. And they found the Dark Friends who had the horn and the dagger, so they recovered the horn and the dagger, and Rand touched the dagger, so like, I don't know what effects that will have on him, but again, worried about Rand. And if this isn't what I feel throughout the whole book, then I don't know what is. And then after they had all those things, they were, running away from the Dark Friends. And Celine kept saying that she wanted to see the horn, she wanted to touch the horn, she wanted Rand to think of the glory that the horn would bring him. I'm just like, dude, shut up. Like, stop, leave Rand alone. And like, I don't like her. Like, she has a really bad vibe. And then they got to some town and they were spending the night there. And basically Celine just fled in the middle of the night. Like, she left a note for Rand and just vanished. So, yeah, weird. And throughout this whole time, Rand is really worried because the legend says that once the dragon is reborn and the Horn of Valere is found, the last battle will begin. And basically, the dragon reborn is supposed to fight the Dark One in the last battle. So that means Rand is gonna have to fight the Dark One in the last battle. So he's worried, I'm worried, we're all worried. So back at Tar Valon, Nynaeve went through some kind of test to be accepted by the Aes Sedai, and it was really sad. Basically, the premise of the test was that she had to want to be an Aes Sedai more than anything. So yeah, like, she would see like some visions, I guess, and she had to want to get away from them enough to be Aes Sedai. And the last one kind of broke my heart for her, because it was like about her and Lan, and like, I shipped them, and it was really sad. And finally, the last thing I read was that Rand, Loyal, and Hurin got to a new town, and they found Thom, like the Gleeman that we thought was dead in the last book, that he had like stayed behind to fight the Trollocs, and the boys just ran away, so like, he saved them, but he's not dead, so yay. And Rand asked him to go with them on their journey with the Horn of Valere, and like, that would be cool for the Gleeman to write, but he said he didn't want to. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And like I'm really enjoying it. And like I've tapped quite a lot of things. And honestly, I'm not having the pacing issues I had with the first book. I'm not finding it slow at all, or maybe just more interesting to me. I don't know. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. So it's been a couple days since I last updated the vlog, and that's because I haven't really had a lot of time to read this week. But anyway, I'm on page 556, which is chapter 40, and which also means that I have a little over 100 pages to go. Since I last updated you, the Dark Friends found Rand and Loyal and Hurin, and they basically stole the chest that had the horn of Valer and also the dagger for Matt. So, yeah, all that they had gone through to get it was pointless, so fun. And basically, the Dark Friends escaped through the ways that were also in the last book. They're like gateways that the ogres know how to use, and you can basically just use them to travel faster between two places. So yeah, the Dark Friends used that, and when Rand and his friends tried to go after them, there was something inside called the Black Wind, which is like dangerous, so they couldn't get inside. And after that, they were like kind of desperate. But Matt and Perrin and the rest of the group that they had been separated from actually found them. They got to the same city or town or whatever they were. So yeah, they're all together now, which was, a little happy thing between all the sadness of this book. And so they decided that they would all go to a steading, which, like, the steadings are like the homelands of the Ogiers. And they wanted to go there so they could use one of their ways. Oh, and like they knew where they were supposed to go because one of the Dark Friends had left Rand a note telling them to go to Tomenhead because that's where they would be. And like they are going because Rand's pretty sure that the Dark Friends cannot open the chest by themselves. So yeah, they're going to Tomenhead, and they went to their steading to find the way. And so they opened the way, and the Black Wind was there again. And they all thought that was really weird because the Black Wind is usually just roaming around in the ways. And the two times they opened it, it was just like right there to greet them. So Randy's wondering if like the Black Wind is following him, which it might very well be. And so, since they could not use the ways, they decided to use the stones. Rand used the one power, and while he was like activating the stone, he could see like alternate realities of his life, and he was miserable in all of them. So that's nothing new. And they didn't go to like an alternate reality, like another world, whatever. Like the other time, they went directly to Tomenhead, which I was not expecting, and neither was the Aes Sedai that was there with him, because she was like, what just happened? Why did you bring us here directly? And when I say directly, I don't mean that was quick. They lost 4 months. They lost 4 months while Brand was activating the stone. Like, what? And that's basically the last I read of that group. And after that, at Tarvalon, one Aes Sedai basically told Nynaeve and Egwene that she knew that her friends were in danger and that she could get them there to them. And other 2 novices who were there, who are called Min and Elaine. And Elaine is the princess of Andor. And they had been in book 1, and like they all like Rand, and Egwene likes Rand, and like everyone likes Rand. I'm just like, okay, that's not gonna go well. But anyway, they overheard it, and they also want to go, so the 4 of them met with the Aes Sedai that had informed them that she would take them there, and they went through the ways. And that's basically the last thing I read. I'm still really, really enjoying it, And like in book 1, when it was slow, I kind of had to like force myself to read to get through those slow parts. And in this book, I kind of have to force myself to stop so that I can get some work done instead of just reading. So, I mean, I guess that's a sign that I really am liking it. Also, I'm really liking the fact that Celine hasn't been anywhere after we last saw her, so yay. Although I feel like she is gonna come back, and I don't like her, and I don't want her to. And the thing that I would like to get more would be like information about where Maureen and Lane are, because we saw them once after they separated from the group and then never again, and I'm just like, what are they doing? Where are they? Are they okay? And like, speaking of are they okay, like I really don't like how much Rand and the other boys hate Moiraine, because I'm just like, dude, she's been helping you this whole time. Like, she's saved your lives. And, you know, I mean, maybe I'll be proven wrong and she'll turn out to be a bad person. But for now, I'm just like, just give her a break. Stop with the hate. Like, I like her, okay? Just stop. I have finished the book, and wow. Since my last update, Egwene, Nynaeve, Elaine, and Min got to Tom and Heath with a Sedai that told them that she was gonna take them there, and well, it was kind of a trick, because they met with some other people, and Nynaeve and Elaine managed to escape, but Min and Egwene did not. And a woman put a collar around Egwene's neck. And she told Egwene that she's a Damain, which is like a leashed one. And the woman who put the collar on her is a Suldame, which is the holder of the leash. And I'm just like, what? And basically, Damain are women who can channel, like, yield the one power. And the Suldame control them with, like, bracelets. Like, the Suldame have bracelets, and the men have collars, and the Suldame control when and how the main can channel. And, like, that's insane. And, well, the other group, the boys, they get the dagger and the horn back. And while they're doing that, Rand sees Egwene with the collar. And he's just like, I need to help her. But the other's like, no, you must have, like, seen it wrong. There's no way Egwene was here. Like, she's at Tarvalon. That was not Egwene. So they kind of leave. And on the other hand, Nynaeve and Elaine managed to get back. And they managed to enter the place where, like, the Soldames and the Mains are. And they free Egwene, but there's a war at that place. So they cannot escape. And, well, all the boys were, like, leaving, but they see the war. And Rand is still like, I need to save Egwene. That was Egwene. And so Matt is like, I know that the horn needs to be used for the last battle, but, you know, why not use it before as well? So he blew the freaking horn. And I was just like, can you do that? But he did it. So apparently you can. And he basically, like, raised the dead heroes back from the grave. And they were all there, and they all knew Rand. And I mean, I guess, like, they knew him from his previous lives as the dragon, and, like, they all knew him. While they were fighting, like, the war that was happening there, Rand fought the Dark One again, and again he says that he killed him, but I'm just like, did you though? I don't think he did. And after his confrontation with the Dark One, he was, like, passed out, and a woman called Lanfer, whatever, got there, and she was like, the dragon is mine. And then she left, and I was just like, who are you, and what do you mean? Also, Nynaeve and Egwene went back to Tarvalon to continue on with their training for a Sedai. Matt and Verin and Hurin also went back to Tarvalon, and they brought the horn and also the dagger, so Matt could finally be, like, separated from it. Moiraine and Len appeared finally, and they're with Rand, and basically the ending was Rand having to make a decision whether he was gonna continue to fight against being the Dragon Reborn or finally embracing who he is. And he did not like say what he chose, but I'm assuming he's gonna embrace it. And just like the previous book, these last 100 pages were very intense. And although I did really like them, I would have loved to see just a little more of the battle, like with the dead heroes and the other people who were like in the war there. Because I mean, there are a lot of POVs in this book, so if you could just have seen like a POV from someone who was fighting more like, you know, in depth, I would really have enjoyed that. And like I think I've said before, I really wanted to see a lot more Moiraine throughout the whole book because I really like Moiraine. You know, I really like seeing her, and I really like the beginning where they were discussing like the politics of the Aes Sedai. Like that was really interesting to me. So yeah, I wish she was more present in the book, but overall, like I really enjoyed it. I tapped the hell out of it. I definitely liked it more than the first one. The plot itself I really enjoyed in the first and the second book, but I feel like the pacing was a lot better in the second book. And right now I'm thinking about giving it around 4 stars, but we'll see what I decide in my final thoughts. Okay, so firstly I'm just gonna talk a bit about the characters, because like I have some things that just annoyed me a little. And first, what annoyed me is like that Matt and Perrin, but especially Matt, were just like kind of rude to Rand after they found out that he's a Dragon Reborn and that he can yield the one power. They were just like rude. And I mean, I get that they were afraid of him because male Ace said I just go crazy and are dangerous. But like, he's your friend, and after everything you've been through in book 1, I was just expecting their friendship to be stronger than that, you know, after everything that Rand has done for Matt as well, like, and continued to do throughout this whole book. Like, he just wanted to get the dagger for his friend. It just bothered me how cold and rude, honestly, they were to Rand. And also, like, same thing about Moiraine, but this time, like, Rand included. They all just hate Moiraine for absolutely no reason. And again, like, I get that they've been told their whole lives that Aes Sedai are dangerous, but Moiraine has been helping them this whole time. And, like, they keep saying that they don't trust her and that she's bad and that they're happy to be rid of her. And I'm just like, dude, what has she ever done to you other than help you? So yeah, I just don't appreciate how rude everyone was to Rand, and then how rude Rand and the others were to Moiraine. And speaking of Moiraine, she was pretty MIA during this whole book, like Moiraine and Lan, and I just wanted more content of them, because like I really like Moiraine and I also really like Lan. So yeah, that's just something I feel like lack in this book, you know, Moiraine and Lan content. And also like I wanted Lan to be close to Nynaeve because I want them together. So yeah, that also didn't happen. And speaking about wanting people to be together, the whole thing about Rand and like Egwene, Min and Elaine liking him, like I couldn't care less, honestly. No. Yeah, no. I just don't feel any real, I don't know, connection, chemistry, anything. Just, yeah, for now, couldn't care less. And also, Celine, no thank you. And speaking of Celine, like, I don't know if I just missed it because this book is a lot, has a lot of information, but I'm still confused about who Celine is or what she is, because I mean, she could use the stones that can only be used by people who can yield the one power, but she said she's not Aes Sedai, and I'm just like, then what the hell are you? So I'm confused about who she is. I just know that I don't like her, and yeah, I mean, not just Celine, but I also had this problem in book 1 that I feel like there isn't enough information given to the readers, and I'm just confused. I mean, I'm not as confused as I was in book 1, that's for sure, but there are still a lot of things I don't understand. Also, in book 1, I had a lot of complaints about the pacing, because throughout the whole like middle section of the book was very slow. And I didn't feel like that happened with this book. I didn't have any issues with the pacing. I actually thought it was like the perfect pacing for me. So yeah, I definitely thought there was an improvement from book one. I really enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed it more than the first book. And I mean, I didn't think it was like perfect, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm giving it 4 stars. So I think this is everything for this reading vlog, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!